Well, welcome back, everyone. We're excited that you have joined the Chantell Cooley podcast. Today is going to be amazing. We have an incredible guest with us, and we're just really going to dive deep into her knowledge and what all that she brings to the table. We're going to be talking about how faith and business innovation intersect, which is incredible. But I first need to tell everyone about my guest today. It's Dr. Janell Gibson, a leader with over 24 years of experience in higher education and business leadership. She is the provost and chief academic officer at Columbia Southern University, my university, and has been a key player in the transformation of online education. But her influence doesn't stop there. Dr. Gibson has a heart for faith-driven leadership. This is why I love her so much. And today we'll be discussing how faith can be a powerful source of innovation, especially during times of transformation in the business world. So, Dr. Gibson, it's such a true honor to have you. I know you're super busy, but welcome.
Thank you, Chantell. I'm excited to be here today and talk about how we can innovate and lead with purpose, especially as we integrate our faith into everything we do.
Right, and you're such a good example of this. You're driven. Your personal development skills of moving yourself forward through communication, and all is so powerful. But then you've got this faith that you add in there, which makes a great combination, doesn't it?
Well, thank you. I have some phenomenal mentors, such as you, Chantell, who have led me along the way, but absolutely integrating our faith into all of our actions, whether it's business or home life, I believe really provides the foundation for success and leadership.
Yeah, and of course, faith fuels you forward, right? Faith is I think it's so needed as a leader in this working world.
Absolutely, it is. It provides Chantell a real solid foundation for innovation, especially during those times of business challenges or transformation.
Yeah, well, how have you seen that work? When I think a lot of people have a hard time of bringing their faith into the workplace, they separate it. But you're such a great example of how you combine it. You're able to walk with such authority. You may never say anything, of course, in the workplace about God and your faith, but you're able to have this presence about you that I've seen you in meetings where you're able to somehow, of course, we know it's by faith and your faith in God to push things forward. Maybe talk a little bit about that because you had some challenging things that have come up and you just kept walking and you may not have known the end result, but you did it.
Amen to that. So, first of all, I am always talking to God. I am always asking for his guidance, for his wisdom, his discernment, his vision all day, every day. You're right. I just don't always say it out loud. I do with those who I know share a similar faith, and we have that relationship where we can share that. But quietly, I am always having to ask for that wisdom, discernment, and guidance. For example, in our academic world, we might have academic programs that have been around for a long time, and the career market has changed. And those programs don't lead to the same jobs that maybe they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and we have to shut down a program, right? And when we do that, that impacts lives. That impacts lives of faculty members or staff that might work in that. So that's where I always ask our Lord just to bring about wisdom, and he never fails, Chantell. I am always given ideas, visions, things that we can do to try to ensure that we make the best decisions we can, that we take care of our people along the way, and that we have some creative solutions.
I love that. And of course, Janelle and I have been friends for years and she knows me. I will think of something that we didn't even talk about. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So as you were talking, we've talked about leaders having intuition and you really have grabbed a hold of that. How powerful is it for a leader to be intuitive? Because a lot of leaders aren't intuitive, and you're able to be intuitive, to think ahead, to see into situations and to sense things, especially with the degree programs going, changing, and the economy, everything's changing. So let's talk about intuition and how you're able to use that right in the business world?
Absolutely, Chantell. So I think it is the God-given gift of discernment, which brings about the ability for intuition. And you have to have that. You get that by listening. You have to listen. You have to bring in other leaders and other people on your team, and you have to hear what they say. You have to consider what they say. You have to especially consider it when maybe what someone tells you is something that you don't agree with. By stopping, by listening, by collaborating, you have an intuition that comes about that lets you know if something is the right path to be going on, or if there's other parts of the story maybe you're not understanding, if something's missing, if there's a gap. Through that, and then through prayer, I absolutely believe solutions come about for you.
Well, and what a powerful tool to take into the working world.
It is a very powerful tool. I don't know how leaders actually could operate without it, but you said something really important earlier, Chantell. You said, there are certain types of intuition that you don't see in all leaders. And that just might be the difference in a leader who truly brings about a servant leadership, way about them to what they do.
Yeah, being intuitive is, I think you go into the room, you may have a set thing that you're going to do. That's great. You're organized. But if you sit back for just 5 seconds and take a breath to sense what is the atmosphere. You're being intuitive, even at that moment, right before the meeting starts, to see what the sense of the feeling, what's going on, what is the attitude like, and what, as a leader, you have control to shift that atmosphere into the direction that it needs to go.
Absolutely. And it also comes with that positive mindset when you start out. I really like to take on the belief that everybody in the room wants to be, at CSU or university, wants to change lives, wants the best. And when I approach things with that, it helps to open me up to more creative solutions as well. But just more positive outcomes.
You're so right. And that really pushes us right into how being a servant leader is so powerful. And there's so many books out about this, as we know. We've read them ourselves. We've read articles, listened to podcasts on being a servant leader. But actually putting that into practice is another whole thing.
You're right.
You can say you're a servant leader, but let's see, what are you doing? Because that's big.
Well, it is big. And you know a servant leader right away because they empower their team. They collaborate with their team. They have humility. When you are really successful at a project, I'm not successful because of me. I am successful because I am surrounded with so many talented, capable individuals who put their all into whatever initiative we're doing. And then you lift them up. You give them opportunity. You give them credit. You listen. When you empower others and they rise up, you know that you are using your servant leadership mode.
That's so good. Let's back up and talk about humility, because like a brand new leader coming, you've got some time to figure out what humility means. It doesn't just fall on you.
Oh, no.
Does it? Let's back up and talk about how you gain humility and how does that even come about? What do you need to go through to see through some things and realize it's not about me. It takes us all. I think that's a learning curve in there. Do you think so?
Huge learning curve. In fact, you need to be smacked down a few times.
Yeah.
Okay? You just do. You're smacked down a few times. You think you know it all. You think you know the answer. And you come in and sure enough, something reveals itself where you didn't know the answer. You made the wrong call. Maybe you hurt an individual. You maybe hurt someone's feelings or you spoke in a manner that was condescending. And I think when you do that, if you are a servant leader or you want to grow and you value people, you will pay attention to what happens. And you think about it. Chantell, you think about at the end of the day, you think about how did that conversation go? How did that meeting go?
Yeah.
Did I come across in the way I wanted? That's very important to me. I always want to come across in a manner where people feel that I respect them and I value them. I don't ever want to lead by fear. I always want to lead so much more where someone feels that I respect. And so I think that enough of those experiences help you know how you want to be. And right,
Oh,
we've all experienced it. I know
yeah.
you have as well.
Yeah.
People that do those things to you and you don't like it. And you say, I don't want to be like that. I am not going to be like that. And I am not going to do that. And you have shared that with me many times.
Yeah, I want to be able to look at myself and say, would you like you, Chantell, being over you, leading you? Would you like what you're doing right now?
Mhm.
It's pretty much a question that it pops up and it keeps me very humble.
Absolutely. And having a self-awareness enough to be able to honestly answer that question and not just say, oh, of course I'd like to report to me, but would I really? And then you
Yeah.
ask those on your team. You can do those surveys that are anonymous. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you get those answers, you don't always like them. But at that point, you have a choice, right? You have a choice. Do you want to hear the feedback, listen, and make some changes? Do you want to grow? Do you want to become a better leader?
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are probably the hardest things. I think one time I knew who put it there. You always pretty much can figure it out. And they said that I always got on the defense. And so I thought, oh, man, I hate this so bad. Why? So I had to dig deep and figure out, why do I always get on the defense? It's because I'm trying to be so perfect and beat you to the place where you don't have to, worry about me. I was able to fix the situation. But then if I failed, I get on the defense because of that reason. And I had to figure it out, and all of this is all developing servant leadership in you, right?
It is, and it's the same. I think we've all been through that. Any of us that would say we didn't get defensive probably aren't being honest with ourselves. Of course, you get defensive,
Yeah.
and then you have to think about it and
Yeah.
stop yourself and say, wait a minute. And you're right, you have to
Right.
dig deep.
And I really like that we're on this topic because I don't know if it gets talked about like we're talking about it right now. Let's bring up self awareness. How important, and again, we're still talking about servant leadership. All of these are part of servant leadership, is being self aware. You've got to be self aware in order to be a servant, to be able to see what you're doing in order to put it into.
You do. I think self-awareness is probably one of the most important skills any leader can have, and it's certainly essential to be a servant leader. And I think so many people aren't self-aware. They say they are, and they're not. So it really takes you have to really take that time each day to reflect on how your day went, how you're feeling. And then you also have to rely on those close to you to share with you. You have to open doors,
Yeah.
to hear from them. You have to have some of those mentors, like for our audience, you are one of my mentors and you will give me honest feedback. And you will give me feedback about areas that, hey, when you walked into the room, you did this. I walk into the room and why don't you try this approach instead,
Yeah.
all those types of things. You have to have those people in your life who will give you that honest feedback.
Yeah, because if you don't have them, there is how that are growing, that are being mentored, and they will pass you up. You have to be the leader to stay 10 feet ahead. And so I think that, Janelle, is what pushes me to keep learning, thinking, and growing.
Absolutely. And you do. And you have a really unique way that I bet everyone would love to hear, Chantell. When you give feedback, you're very positive and you're encouraging, but you're also to the point. You're clear, you're succinct, and it always ends on a positive note, feeling like I can do this. But I know you've mentored hundreds of people, not tens or 20s or 30s, but hundreds of people. And I'd even love to hear more about your with how you do that.
Thank you, Janelle. I love mentoring. And you know what? For me, when I mentor, my mindset is, what can I learn out of this? I may be just listening with you. You have so much to offer and teach me and we get together. So it's really not me mentoring, it's listening and then getting intuition and maybe some guidance. Where I'm on the outside of a situation, I can have a different perspective and see different angles, where you're inside of it, feeling every emotion of it that's driving you. And I'm on the outside being able to see it from a different point of view, which then, as a mentor, as a friend, I can give different ideas of what might be happening, which then will get your brain to start thinking and shifting and deciding, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. I didn't mess up as bad as I thought. Oh, better idea. And so what we're always trying to do in our world is get around the mountain. If there's a mountain usually in our way, and how can we either move it out of the way, walk through it, or simply move around it? And I think that's really what, as leaders, we are called to do in our job, and also with our staff, helping them do the same thing.
Absolutely. And so that gave me a thought, what you just said when you asked how I use this. When you said that Roy's looking for a way, right, to go through the mountain, over the mountain, around the mountain. I like that approach because it's not always super general. It's about a specific thing at that moment that I might be working on, that if I tried a different strategy, I would succeed or have a different approach. So I think that's a really good tip for those trying to grow in their leadership, is try to apply it specifically to a situation. And then you can evaluate that outcome and you can see how it works for you. And then you can apply it again. And as you start to experience success, you can build on it more and more.
It's so powerful to have someone to talk to, especially when you're moving forward in your career. It's so valuable. And honestly, it's so rare to find someone that has the time that will give back to you.
That is very true. And it's very tricky when you're a high up leader, because you certainly sometimes you aren't sure what to do, and you might have indecision, and you maybe don't feel like you want to go to your boss and say you don't know. And you're certainly not going to go to your subordinates or direct reports and say you don't know, but you don't always know. And so to have someone that has a strong faith, believes in our Lord, believes in the guidance, who will talk to you, mentor you, advise you, and pray with you, that to me is the most powerful combination ever that could exist.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to be blessed to have a boss who has faith in God, because they're pulling from the insight of the Holy Spirit, what God is showing them about a situation. That what's so amazing is you may not know one thing about the situation. You're pretty much an inch deep in it. That's all you got. But if you sit there as a Christian leader and you guys say, God, just give me insight into this situation, it's like God will take you 100 feet deep. You'll know things that you're not even supposed to know. You'll sense things. And a lot of times you're hitting the bullseye. You got it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always feel like he's taking a magnifying glass and just this big for me. And I see it. I'm like, I see it. How didn't I see this before? But I didn't. And now I do. And then it's really clear. And when it's clear, you just have confidence as you move forward in the decisions you're making. And then I also think you can navigate challenging situations with much more strength, compassion, and leadership.
Oh, yeah, it's so wonderful. It's just an honor to be in the marketplace. We call it the marketplace because you are bringing that faith, that innovation to drive yourself forward, to build the kingdom of God. And we happen to be able to do that through education, changing lives.
Amen. And that is huge. And I love that. I love it when our work and the opportunity I have in my role is to lead our university in education, right? Education is our product, for lack of better words, but it truly changes lives. People who get better promotions, they get better jobs, they may have hit dead ends, they were very stuck, and by getting advanced degrees, getting more skills, getting more education, they improve in the ability to literally have a better life. financially familial with their
Hmm. Hmm.
careers, it truly does change lives. They often say you can lose most everything in life, but you can't lose your education, right? When you have earned your education, it's yours forever, and you own that, and you can use that to improve your life.
I love that. We happen to both be a part of something that's bigger than us. And
Yeah.
I think that's what your faith in God can do as a leader. You take it into your workplace, you're undercover for God, you're an undercover agent, and you are changing lives. It doesn't matter what their religion is, if they even have any. We're in the working world doing tasks, but we are called as leaders to help that person develop the skill sets, help them move forward and be successful at those tasks. And I love it.
Absolutely. Last year, I believe we hit, I'm not going to remember the exact month, but we hit over 100,000 graduates at CSU. We currently have about 30,000 active students, but we hit over 100,000. And when you look at that, that's made an impact. And we're continuing to grow. And that's just giving us the ability to influence and improve and empower more people.
That's so good. And again, we're talking about Columbia Southern University. It's columbiasouthern.edu. We have over 100 different degree programs. Dr. Janell is the provost. She is awesome. She has an incredible staff, and maybe some of them are listening today that help her move education to the next level. And we're just so proud of you, Janelle. Do you want to say anything real quick before we move to another topic about Columbia Southern University? Maybe somebody's listening. They could be from Brazil because this podcast is going to go to Brazil and the United States. How can they maybe step into the university and figure out, what's their next step?
Absolutely. So we have a tremendous website, columbiasouthern.edu. Visit our website and you see all about us, right? We see our mission, our vision, our core values, and how committed we are to exceptional service, to taking care of our students. You can see our academic programs. We have 6 colleges, a College of Arts and Sciences, a College of Safety and Emergency Services, College of Business and Technology. We also have colleges of education, nursing and health sciences, and military studies and leadership. So there's a plethora of programs in there. We have wonderful advisors who are able to help you talk about some of your dreams, your career goals, programs that are for you. We have academic advisors who really hold your hand all along the way because we realize it's tough, right? To manage usually a career, to manage a family all at the same time. So we give a lot of support to help students accomplish their goals. We would just love you to come and check us out and just give us the opportunity to help serve you and help change your life through education.
Of course, we're strictly online.
Yes. We are 100% online, and most of our faculty members are all practitioners. So we really believe in people working in the fields who can bring their real world experience into the classroom. They can tell you how it really is out there. So in providing the education, you also learn a lot about what your career demands and things that you have to do to move forward.
Let's just real quick before we move on, let's talk about your like in the last year, you've launched a couple of programs, maybe 3. Let's talk about each one briefly.
We have launched several programs. First of all, we have launched 7 programs in 7 nursing programs. These are all post-licensure programs. So for somebody who already is a registered nurse, these are RN to BSN programs. They are in nursing education, nursing administration, nursing leadership. Then we also have programs where you can go straight from your RN to your master's degree, because to be able to get supervisory roles in many hospitals and doctors' offices, you need the advanced degrees. We've also developed advanced degrees in criminal justice, homeland security, and we're in the process of developing masters in cybersecurity, masters in accounting. We've also launched a master's in psychology, human services, health and wellness. All of our faculty came to us because through the pandemic, our nation really hit a crisis with individuals struggling with mental health and wellness. So we wanted to offer programs in that so that we would be able to impact individuals and struggling with that.
And did you mention education?
We do. We are very proud, right? We have a big shortage of teachers. So our College of Education literally educates those who are licensed teachers to have advanced levels where they can educate teachers. We have a Master's of Education in Curriculum and Instruction. We also have a Doctorate of Education in Curriculum and Instruction, and we do have a Master's in Instructional Design and Technology. These are under the leadership of a really dynamic dean, Dr. Frida Braddock, who has connections all over the country with helping to pair educators with our advanced degrees.
That's so fascinating. And it's you can be anywhere and click into these programs, still working.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the beauty of it.
Yep. Anywhere, anytime. And that's what works really well for people. You can be in your class at 10 p.m. You can be in your class at 7 a.m. And you do have opportunities for live engagement with your faculty. It's really tremendous.
It's the place to go.
Yes, ma'am.
We're the best.
I agree 100%.
Okay. So again, columbiasouthern.edu. Go online, check it out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. We are called as a university to change lives, and we get to do it through education. And we know how to do it. We're not perfect. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is, as leaders, we might mess up, but we can fix it very quickly. I think that's another servant leadership. We mess up, we fix it, and we become experts at fixing it quickly. And I think that's key as well. Okay, so we're running out of time, but we've got a little bit more time left. And of course, I've been trying to get you for months. You've been so busy all over the continent, probably actually the world, traveling. I want to talk about. Let's talk about personal development. We've kind of went over our topics, and I want to go on to one more topic that we didn't really plan on, but I was going to, I go to a counselor from time to time because I think it's really good for me. It gets me thinking, sometimes you can get in a rut with your thinking, and it's so good to put yourself with someone to get out of that place. And this was very interesting, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. And of course, what is your bachelor's in what, Janelle?
So it's interesting. My bachelor's is in journalism with a minor in business. My master's is in counseling psychology, and then my PhD is in conflict analysis and resolution.
Okay.
Which is a social site.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll be able to add to this with just with your degrees alone, but obviously you have years and years of experience yourself. So what as a person we can get into this? It's kind of like an OCD pattern, and I really did this well, where throughout my life I've been rejected a lot, just like everybody else. But boy, I had my I was rejected at a young age, and it just kept going. But there's something in me that was able to persevere out of it. I just give all the credit to God. And anyway, you can begin to zone in on hurts, past hurts. You can tell the stories over and over. You can even have vows. I'll never be this. I'll never do that. I'll never be that kind of person, or it goes on and on. And what she was telling me is if you can be self-aware enough to pull yourself out of this loop where when you get hurt by someone at work or they say something that doesn't sit right, it triggers you. Then you go into this storytelling. You start rehearsing the truth, things that really have happened. Why did this happen? This happened, this happened. And I'm a very good storyteller. I don't forget. I forgive, but I don't forget the details. And
Right.
honestly, Janelle, I thought I was an expert at this because I thought, well, that was a good thing. I think it is, as you are walking through some traumas and letting go of some hurts throughout your career. There's a million of them, but you need to be self-aware. And there's that key word again, as a leader,
Right.
to be able to go, wait a minute, I'm in the loop, rehearsing the same old stories, and it's doing nothing for me except taking me down to the bottom of the pit. And I feel worse. I'm sadder now because I have got myself into the loop by a leader, someone that said something. Maybe they are jealous of me and I caught it. But what am I going to do with all this stuff that's coming at me? For me, I would go into OCD with it. We're not talking about OCD, well, things need to be in certain order. We're talking about mind just
Nice.
looping until I'm exhausted from rehearsing all the hurts from third grade again,
Right.
all the way to right now. And you know what? I finally said, oh my goodness, I get it. I am self aware. When I begin to do that, I am self aware to go, stop. It's okay. You do not need to go into this again. You've already been set free. You've already let it go years ago, and you keep bringing it back up. It's doing nothing for you at this point, which I was in shock, Janelle. It was such a aha moment. It changed my life. And this just happened a
Yep.
week ago. And I'm thinking, now I stay out of the loop and I don't need to go back into all the hurts and things. And I think if we could, now that I've told my story, let's zone in on what your feedback is on that, how you can relate. Because as a leader, we need to stop these things because this takes up too much energy where you are made to do great things and you do not need to pull your energy in all these traumas and hurts if you've already gone through it and got yourself out of it and you've accepted it and you released it and you asked for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Here
Yeah.
you are. So I hope that listeners, understand it to an extent what I'm trying to get here. It's pretty deep, but it's made my mind more clear. And I don't go there anymore in this merry-go-round.
That's amazing. You guys take a break. One sec. All I'm going to do, the sun is in my eyes and I
Okay,
can see it glaring. There you go.
got it.
Better.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go right back to it and just say, first of all, Chantell, everything you're saying is spot on, and stories that I have heard and situations that I know that many have experienced, especially during the time when I was counseling and when I was, learning about the psychology. But you're absolutely right. We have these patterns in our brain, right? From our across our neurons that immediately that felt a lot of hurt. And whenever strong emotion is attached to a situation, and that situation happens again years later, might be months later, years later, you immediately feel that emotion and you go right back there. And cognitive behaviorism is what you're practicing, which is exactly, you say stop, and you have to change those self-defeating thoughts from I am an incompetent, little girl to I am a very competent, accomplished woman. Like, stop. You're absolutely right. You have to catch yourself with a stop. It's a purposeful action. You say it, then you change and restructure that thought and you focus on that positive. This is not who I am anymore. That was just a situation. I am competent. You think about the positive things and you almost have to reprogram your brain, right? Mm-hmm. And the more you reprogram your brain with those positive sorts of thoughts, the more you are able to come out of that, because everybody experiences what you're sharing. But the bigger the hurt, the deeper the pain, the more you experience it. And some people have experienced it a lot more than others, right? Some have had hardships in life.
Yeah.
That are more than others. I think for me, it hits me at 3 a.m. Okay. 3 a.m. Sure enough, if anything is unresolved or if anything bothers me, I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. and it's going to run through my mind over and over and over. And that's that OCD thing portion you were talking about.
Yeah.
It runs through our mind. And it seems like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger at those times in the middle of the night. And it's really hard to wrangle in. And that's when I do the same thing you do. I say, stop. Many times I will say a prayer to just bring about peace and to help me not focus on that situation. And then you learn to focus on getting rid of that self-defeating thought and refocusing on something more positive. And the more you do that, the more able you are to move forward and not get stuck. But right? It's not, you don't learn it and just go like this. You learn it and you take a dip. And then you learn a little more and you take a dip. And you learn a little more. And I think that's where we have to be really kind to ourselves. Because the moment we take that dip, we think we fail. We failed. Never mind, I'm not better. This isn't getting. And that's not true. It kind of goes like on a pattern like that. And I see a huge difference in you and your confidence and how amazing you are. And how forgiving you are, and how you don't allow many of those people or situations that hurt you before. You just don't allow it. It's like, nope, you're not coming for me. I can see that in you.
That has been a long journey. And I guess thank you for saying that. How could we save people time? I mean, we've been doing this, probably both of us over 30 years of leadership. And what can we do as we round this podcast up to the end? What can we say to leaders out there to save them time? They don't have to go through what we went through. Here we go,
So listen to your anger, right? And when I say listen to your anger, that might mean your sadness, your hurt. Listen to it. Take a few moments, think about it. Instead of pushing it down and distracting yourself with something else, which is what people tend to want to do when they're angry or hurt, listen to it. Really reflect on what it is. Many counselors suggest writing it down and then rewrite it, right? Rewrite that story, rewrite that statement. It's not that way anymore. You've learned from it. You've changed. Something's happened. And then you say that over and over. And every time that situation or that self-defeating thought comes up, go to your rewritten one. Because once you become self-aware, as you said, and you understand what is pulling you down, okay, now you know what it is. That's half the battle. Just identifying what it is that makes you feel the way you feel. And then actively choosing a different course of action.
Yeah, and if you're a leader that's held it all in, I hope that you can find someone. I can remember calling Janelle. It was 9:30 at night, and I was able to explain it. I had to get it out. I don't even know if I could get healed until I talked with someone that could hear me on my level of thinking. I think it's really important. And then I think I could have maybe even healed quicker if I'd have not rehashed it over and over and over. It's like, how many times do I needed to go through it to rethink it? And that's when I got into the OC pattern, which is what I think we can save a lot of people. If you're in that place and you've rehashed it, like you've memorized all the stories, the feelings, the hurts, you've gone through it all. Okay, you go back to how many times have I got to go through this? Really, you don't have to keep going through it if you don't feel like you need to, right? You can say, that's enough. And you recognize you're doing it again. And I'm like, my gosh, I'm doing it again. And taken me 3 again.
Sure.
I mean, all the stories were true. All the hurts that you've gone through probably are true. And it's so nice to be able to tell somebody, but then at that point, can you move on from it? I don't know. That's where you go into your own inner healing and your trauma, learn about the trauma and figure out what you need to do. But for me personally, that was what happened to me. And I was able to get out of the loop and get in. Really, there's another life past all these hurts.
There is another life. And you said it before when you said stop. You have to physically say to yourself, stop, I'm doing it, and make a different choice for a different thought process and behavior pattern. But it's ongoing, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about saving people time, it's just not going to fix overnight. It's ongoing.
Yeah.
But
it's ongoing.
I would love someone to save you time, right? We absolutely. So we call this vicarious learning. It's learning from someone else's experiences. And I have found it is not true that you have to go through everything to learn a lesson, right? I can see what happens to other people when they make certain choices, and I don't want to experience that consequence. And therefore I can modify my behavior so that I don't.
Yeah.
And tell that's what you're saying. You're hoping to share with your audience. Hey, if I can save you some pain, if I can save you some hurt, if I can save you some time, there are some steps you can take. See, you're educating, you're still educating and improving lives in your other career.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So as we're ending, we've got like a couple minutes left. Real quick, how can people find out more about you? Through your LinkedIn, right?
Yep, you can find on LinkedIn. I post frequently on LinkedIn stories about leadership, successful
Mhm.
stories about people we come across. Many times it's our students, it's our faculty, it's those I encounter throughout just our higher education community, our leadership community. Please go there. You can also at our website, columbiasouthern.edu. My bio is there, and you will see different things on it about our values, our programs, things I back, student forums that we lead. So you can absolutely connect with me through LinkedIn.
Okay. And she's a great speaker. If you want to have her speak, I mean, reach out to her through LinkedIn and message her. She's a woman who is full of faith. She is a leader, full of success. She's made it to the top of her. Well, you're close. I mean, I guess being your provost, and then one step above as president. She's made it to the top of education, really, as a woman, which is powerful. So she's a great woman leader who can encourage other women. And again, we talked about innovation, how faith, if you have your faith, fuels your innovation. It fuels
Yes.
changes, it gives direction, and you're an example. You live this.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I know when you were saying that about the position, I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. Many times my boss, who is the president of our university, says to me, you could be a president somewhere. You would be a really great president. And I say, I don't want to go anywhere right now. I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I feel, and it's because I have a feeling of contentment. It's a strong feeling of contentment that I'm not done where I am right now. And I know that I have more work to do here. And I know the Lord will let me know if that time comes. But right now, I love what I'm doing. And contentment would be that word that lets me know I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, that's really amazing. That's also such peace there. You go, I'm doing good. I'm changing lives. And there's lives in this position you have that haven't been changed yet. And you're a great boss and great friend and great mentor as well. So, well, hey everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. We talked about a lot of stuff off the cuff that just came out of our heart that we wasn't planned, and I really feel that that is a divine appointment for some of you that are listening. Maybe you needed to hear some of that will just give you that energy you need to drive forward. Well, thank you, Janelle, for everything that you've offered today. It's been great having you on.
Thank you so much for having me, Chantell. And for all of you, it's such a gift to have you out there listening. Chantell will change your life. All you got to do is give her a minute and she will swoop
Oh,
right
gosh.
in. But it's so positive working with you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you again, Janelle. Now you see why I enjoy her mentoring me and being my friend. Well, as we end, I want to remind you that I have a course called Beyond the Basics, and it's a series of videos that are short videos, and I also have a book called Beyond the Basics. And you can get a hold of this. Go to my Instagram. You can find it probably on my LinkedIn as well. But you can go in there and access it, and I think it will change your life. I also have some courses at Columbia Southern, which are free, right? That you can go through, teach you on different things on leadership. There's all kinds. You can check it out at the website, and I've just check check me out. I'm on Instagram, always talking about moving you forward, talking about one foot in the ministry, one foot in the business world, and how my faith has driven me forward to do things that I could never do on my own. Well, that's all we have for today. Again, share this podcast with others. I know it will change their life, and I will see you next time.